Starting with Virginia.
I'm okay. Thanks. Okay. Obviously, first credit to North Carolina State. They were certainly warriors on the offensive glass. When Wood gets it going like that, they become so dangerous. They have, I think they're the most offensively talented team in our league, you know, with the 5 on the floor at most times. And for us to have a chance in this game, we talked about it. There were a couple areas that we had to be at least an A in or a A minus or as good as we can, and it was certainly transition defense and the ability to limit them to as few of offensive rebounds as possible. And they certainly used their athleticism, their toughness, and got a lot of offensive rebounds. They got some transition buckets, and we didn't play very well. So that's the result against a talented team like that.
Questions? Raise your hand. Let us get the mic to you. Let us know who you are, who you're with, and please address your question to a specific player. First question to our left.
Mike Barber from Richmond. Joe, what made it a tough shooting day for you today?
I thought they did a good job of overplaying. Just made all the shots tough and just contested, and always had a hand in the face.
Front row.
Yeah, Waddy Reed with the Charlottesville Daily Progress. Joe, some of those threes that Wood was knocking down, did you feel like you guys contested them? Was he just in the zone? Did you feel like he closed out nicely on them?
A couple of them, I felt like, you got to rest for just a moment, and it allows him to just get a little bit of space, and that's all he needs to knock down a shot.
Jeff White, VirginiaSports.com. Tony, this was another slow start, not unlike the Maryland game. Any explanation for why the team has been so slow out of the gate the last couple of games?
Yeah, we talked about obviously you always talk about trying to start the right way, but we were sluggish, missed a few easy ones, couple turnovers. They obviously got some good looks and just couldn't. Every time we tried to make a mini run, if you want to call it that, they would answer with a big three, big shot, or we'd have a breakdown. And that was a discouraging part, some of those breakdowns we had that, again, you can't afford against a team like this.
Front row.
Yeah, it's Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times. Akil, talk about the team's lack of success maybe since you and Joe came in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we've struggled in the first round. We played NC State last year, and, last year I guess we had a few guys banged up, but that's no excuse. Just struggling to kind of find our way here, but I have faith in our team, and hopefully we've still got some more basketball left.
Back left.
Hey, Coach Bennett, Stain Huffman with WNCN in Raleigh. NC State, obviously you scouted them closely. Did they look different to you than when you played them in Charlottesville? I mean, more confident, more cohesive? What did you see as you scouted them?
Right, well, Wood had a terrific game against us. He wasn't as hot there, and they're a different team with Lorenzo Brown. He just obviously makes them go. He played about 10 minutes against us, and then he rolled his ankle. So that changes the complexion of the game when he's on the floor. And, the play of Howell and certainly Leslie on the glass, even if they can make plays individually, if you trap, you got issues. If you try to play them one-on-one, you have issues. But those two guys were playing, I thought, at a pretty high level on the glass. I know Howell banged his foot up, and you look at Leslie's stat line of 6 of 17, but I think Brown makes all the difference, and then Wood with his shooting he hit some special shots. What Joe said, it was both. Some we did a poor job. We were a little unalert, and he got free, and then some we were right there, and he got it rolling.
Front left.
First, Tony, what does this do to your NCAA chances? And for the players, did you feel a pressure like you're playing for an NCAA spot today?
I think what will be will be. We have some quality wins. We have some bad losses, and who knows what will happen. I'm sure a lot of people won't give us much a chance, but the committee, they'll make their decision. We'd love a chance to get in. This would have obviously helped. And, I thought we had the right mindset going, and we prepared pretty hard, and we knew what the keys were. But again, if you're a little off against this kind of offensive team, you won't have much of a chance. And, we play we have a fine line.
Middle of the room.
Coach David Glenn from ACCSports.com and the David Glenn Show. You were a great shooter yourself. You probably had nights like Joe had as a great shooter, not so good tonight, but also nights like Scott Wood had as a great shooter when it went in. What did you see in terms of defense and spacing and everything else that made that happen between two great shooters?
Well, I mean, I think he had they probably keyed in on Joe, guarded Joe probably a little better than we guarded Wood. But again, as I said, if he earns them and they're tough shots, we live with them. But it's when either we lose vision or relax and he gets a clean look, that's hard to stomach. Those are the breakdowns you can't. And it was a combination of both. And again, he just had it going. Again, they tagged Joe. Joe got some good looks. He was off today. That happens. And we always say, don't let your shot affect the rest of your game. You try to be as sound as possible in other areas and impact the game. But, Wood's got some obviously nice pieces, and you can't, if you just guard him, they're going to hurt you in other ways.
Front row.
Tony, the first start for Toby since November.
Right.
Talk about that decision, and it looked like he was a little off.
Yeah, I think we finished the second half of the Maryland game. In the overtime, I thought we played good basketball in terms of going inside. He gives us a scoring threat and some size. I was hoping on the glass. We were worried about the matchup, certainly, if it was Howell or who we had a matchup on. And he just, it was obviously a big stage against high-level guys, and he was a little off. But the reason was I thought we finished the Maryland game, and we thought we needed to be a little more traditional to battle them.
To our left.
Tom Welborn, WBFT in Sanford. Coach, I know it was a tough night, but what are maybe some positives you took out of this game?
This game, right now it's hard to find some. Our effort was good. It was, but our execution, effort without execution or soundness doesn't get you a whole lot. But these guys they're as I said, they're a group, and I sound like a broken record, but you certainly can win with them, but you can lose with them, and they're going to come back and fight for the next practice, and they're about the right stuff. But on the floor. Right now I'm struggling a little bit. I can look at the stat sheet and say, well, there were some good things that happened, but I'll have to get back to you on that one. How's that?
Middle of the room.
And Seguir with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Joe, I'm curious, it seemed like they were really kind of getting into you, being physical. I'm curious how that compared with how they played you last time, and also just with other teams in general you faced this season.
They did a good job making cuts hard. They weren't letting anything easy. If I got a down screen or anything like that, they're always trailing in the cut and, playing really tight. And it was a little bit different. I thought, at home we did a good job. We were in more of a rhythm offensively, and it just kind of seemed like things were clicking. And, guys were able to get good shots. And tonight it was just a little bit different. Keel played well offensively for us, but other than that, it was difficult to really find a rhythm.
Front row.
Tony, you trailed 19 by 19 early in the second half. You cut it to, I think, 11 after the technical on Warren. Back-to-back possessions, they had 3, maybe as many as 5 shots. Was that kind of the last straw there?
Yeah, I mean, you never want to say that, but that was probably our chance when maybe we could have got it into a single-digit lead. We're fortunate to, hit that shot. And then, you're right. Keel looked like was fighting his butt off, and they're trying to get a rebound, and we needed to come up with one, and those are the plays that you gotta get, and we weren't able to. Again, sometimes we were with 4 perimeters, so we wouldn't have the size. It was matchup. There were matchup problems all over out there, but again, getting back, there was an easy transition layup that we lost sight of a guy that hurt us in that stretch, and also those offensive rebounds that were kind of the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Middle of the room.
Coach, your team and its body of work have become this litmus test for an unusual combination of a great record against good opponents, but too many bad losses, as they say. You're a fair guy. How much weight do you put on those things?
I don't know. I think I told you before, or maybe it was you who said we're the Dos Equis bubble team. We're the most interesting bubble team in the world. So we got to stay thirsty, right? So was that you? Was that in the interview? Or no, it was No, you can't take. Who was it with? It was someone I'm sure will claim it. But, it's what the committee looks at. We certainly do have some quality wins. Absolutely. Have some bad losses. Have the injuries. They'll have to make those decisions. It is a very unique situation, and, that's where it's at.
Front row to our left.
Joe and Akil, we got cut off from that, but did you guys feel any pressure today playing like you were playing for an NCAA bid?
Joe?
No, I mean, I thought, our coaching staff and everybody around us, we did a good job of, being prepared and, kind of focusing on just the game at hand. And, Coach always talks about how that stuff will take care of itself. We just got to focus on playing good basketball.
Yeah, just like Joe said, I felt like our team was pretty focused on this game at hand. And, we all had ACC tournament title. That was our goal. And, whatever happens will happen. You can't really worry about that, and you just have to kind of free yourself up and play.
Yeah, I think perhaps to add, in the Maryland game, I thought we had dropped those 2 games, and I thought we felt a little pressure. I didn't sense that from them, and it was just we're going to have to play great basketball as much, but perhaps the Maryland game, but I didn't sense that as much with these guys for this game.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Water if you got one. Well, let me just start off and say I think it was a really good win for our team, and I think our team is beginning to find that groove. I like to use that word. I think we're getting in a good spot, and defensively, I think we're improving, getting better. And I thought today, Virginia missed some shots, but I also thought our defense had a lot to do with it. I thought we really defended them well. Scott did a great job on Joe Harris, not letting him get a lot of free looks. Our help defense was better. Our team defense was better. And then I thought offensively, we moved the ball and shared the ball really, really well. So good team win for us, and now we got to get ready to play a really good team tomorrow.
Questions, again, raise your hand. Let's get the mic to you, and please address your questions to a specific player. First one in front of us.
Coach, Josh Goodson with the David Glenn Show. CJ Lorenzo combined 8 for 27 against a team like Virginia that doesn't really do the recipe for getting a big win. What do you think was, that helped you get this big win with those guys kind of struggling on offensive end?
Well, the first thing, even though we struggled to score at times, we still did a pretty good job, shot the ball pretty well. And I thought there was a couple stretches where Scott just took the game over. And, it was a week or so ago or a few days, whenever it was, when the voting came out for all ACC selection, I was shocked that Scott Wood wasn't on somebody's first, second, third, or honorable mention. To me, that's amazing. I think when you play our team, one of the first things you got to do is figure out how you're going to guard Scott Wood. And he stepped up today. Not only was he working extremely hard defensively, but he changed the game, just changed the game, period. And so he's been doing it all year for us. He's won games for us at the end. And today I thought he just had a couple of stretches where he was outstanding.
To our left.
Aaron Beard with the AP. This is for Scott. Sort of following what Coach said earlier about getting in a groove, how do you think this team is confidence-wise right now? I mean, it looks like you're playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I think we're doing a pretty good job so far. I think the main thing for us is on the defensive end, and we got a bunch of people that can score the ball. So anytime we're in a stance and guarding our scout the way we know we're capable of, it makes us a dangerous team.
On the aisle.
Hey, this is Dane Huffman from WNCN in Raleigh. Coach, you're talking about how your team has kind of found a groove, and we saw that yesterday and again today. Why do you think that is? When did you start to see that, and why do you think you're sort of playing that way now?
I don't know if I know the answer for that. I think every coach if you knew how to get your team playing really well at the end, we'd just all do it, automatically. It just sometimes happens that way. I think, putting TJ in the lineup there, 6 or 8 or 10 games ago, I think it took a little bit of time, but I think it's beginning to help our chemistry. We had a stretch there where Lorenzo was hurt, missed 3 games, and then, a couple games he was, probably not even 75%. And now I think he's much healthier. That's probably helping us some. And then I think you got some veteran players, too, that when you get down to the end of the year and you got some seniors and some upperclassmen, they want to play a little differently. And so I think all those things probably contribute to that.
Front row.
Scott, when you got it going there, especially in the second half, when you made those 3 straight, what does it feel like? Do you feel like that you can't miss at that point? And then do you ask the guys, get me the ball here, or do they just start looking for you?
I'm never really one to go again and say, give me the ball. But, it feels good when you're knocking down your shots, and it gives you that confidence to know that the next one's going in. So Zoe and Tyler just did a good job finding me to get me some easy ones, and CJ, TJ, and Richard did a good job of setting good screens to get me open.
To the left.
Scott, a follow-up to that question. You had 17 in the second half. Was your mindset any different when you came out from halftime?
Not really. Anytime I get the opportunity to get a good look, I'm going to take advantage of it. So my teammates just did a good job of finding me and setting good screens and allowing me to get a couple easy looks. And once I knocked them down, it gave me a little more confidence.
Front row.
Coach, I know Richard got kneed in the leg, and he said it was really painful in the second half. Have you ever seen him grimace as much?
Well, not really, but he's a tough young guy, and he plays through just about everything. And I asked him a couple of times if he was okay, and I knew he wasn't, but he didn't want to come out of the game, and he just kind of battles like that. And I thought it was interesting because, I think Calvin offensively is usually pretty good for us, and tonight – I thought there were some stretches where Richard was really hunting for Calvin because he was hurting a little bit. And they did a nice job passing the ball to one another in there. And, Richard just keeps battling every night.
Back left.
James Stern, WCCP in Clemson. CJ, you looked like when you came out that you were trying to set the tone not only offensively and defensively. Did you feel that pressure to set the tone for your team in this ball game, or is that just kind of how the offense worked early?
Well, one of the main things I pride myself is on my energy. I knew if I got going and got the energy started early, that my team would follow right behind me, and we'll do a good job of picking each other up. Because on any given night, it can be a different person, whether it's Rich, whether it's Scott, whether it's Zoe. So we just kind of piggyback off each other a lot.
To our right.
How can you specifically prepare for Miami?
For Coach.
Excuse me.
How can you specifically prepare for Miami?
Well, we played them once at home, and they beat us. So, first of all, we remember that. And, they have proven from start to finish that they have been the best team in the league so far. Their record was that, and so we got a lot of respect for them. They're big inside with the 3 big guys in there. They're not just tall, they're thick. Larkin had a phenomenal year, and he's a dangerous guy to guard with ball screens at the top of the key or wherever that may be. And then they've got guys that can make shots. They're a team that in college basketball right now is built to win. Very, very few teams end up with that many veteran players at one time who are that good, and Jim's done a great job with them. So we got our hands full. We know it. We respect them. They beat us at our place, and our guys will be really excited about playing, I'm sure.
Left aisle.
Hey, CJ, Dane Huffman from WNCN in Raleigh. In the game against Miami, there at the end of the game, and I'm sorry I can't remember exactly if you were on the court, but were you on the court? What do you remember about that tip-in? And frankly, are you glad to have another shot at Miami?
Well, yeah, of course I am. That was a tough game for us, and we felt like we had that game under control, and it just slipped away from us at the end. But one of the things is that we know that we have it's a tough team. We have a tough matchup with the big guys inside and with that guard. So we're just going to come out and be prepared.
Coach David Glenn from ACCSports.com and the David Glenn Show. As a guy who hit 48% of your three-pointers yourself, when you see great shooters like Scott, hot today, great shooter like Harris, cold today, Did you see just hot and cold, or did you see a lot more than that to explain those results?
Well, I think Joe Harris is really, really good, and he's proven it. But I thought today Scott guarded him for a lot of the game, and then Lorenzo had him for some of the game. And I thought we did a good job of making it really hard for him. Even when he curled off of some of the screens on the wings, we did a nice job of helping and not allowing him to dribble drive to the basket, which he's really good at. He's strong enough to get to the rim. We eliminated some of that. I thought Scott and Zoe did a great job. And then, offensively, Scott had the hot hand. And, we kept going to him, and he kept delivering. So when he gets going like that, I'm not sure there's a better shooter in the country. I've said that many times. I've told him he's the second best shooter in the gym, usually behind me, but he's getting close. But he's as good as there is in the country. There's no doubt in my mind, and he was awfully good today.
Front row.
Coach, Daniel Wilson, North Carolina State technician. Early in the season, Brown got injured, and you lost 3 straight, including the last-second loss to Miami. Can you talk about Lorenzo's impact on and off the court?
Well, I think you could see his impact now. I'm not sure exactly what our record is from when he came back, but it's pretty good. And it was pretty good before he got hurt. And he just does so many things throughout the game. Defensively, he affects the game. He settles our team down. We've got great confidence in him. He finds guys with his passing. He can score when he needs to. So he just affects the game in so many ways. And, obviously we're a different team when he's healthy. And, hopefully he's getting close to 100% now.
Mike Barber from Richmond. You played 5 starters, 30 minutes. You didn't have the bye. Are you worried at all about fatigue or not an issue with your guys?
No, that's a rule we have. You're not allowed to get tired. That's a rule you have. So now our guys will be fine, and they'll be anxious to play tomorrow and ready to go. And we'll find strategic ways throughout the game to rest our guys, which we have, and they'll be ready to go.
Okay, thank you. Good job, guys. Thanks.